The United States Grand Prix is the round 3 of this championship, and so far we've had 2 different race winners. I'm confident we could have different race winners every single race of this championship, which would mean we'd have 6 different race winners. Maybe some that haven't had a race before, race win, like Romain Grosjean has. So it's up for anyone to grab who wants to win a race in this championship. It could prove very important as well to the statistics, so who gets wins here and who gets wins there. So currently at the moment, Kimi Räikkönen's got the most wins with 7. Same as Nico Hulkenberg, but I don't think Nico Hulkenberg is really in a position this championship to actually get a win now. He's kind of lost that after he got 3rd place in the last race, but Vettel managed to get his 5th one. Like I said, ourselves are on 5 wins as well, which is going to be interesting to see if it's possible for any of the drivers to extend, their tallies in terms of podiums, pole positions. Although pole positions won't really count in this because you're not really working for it. I reckon some drivers would probably get 5 out of 6 podiums, pole positions even, if they started from the front every single time, but that's not going to happen. So we're going to get into the race as quick as we can. We'll try and move this along as best as possible. We got 5 lights, and Vettel just absolutely flew off the start. We was kind of napping. He's going to go all the way past Grosjean and Kvyat already. You might even have a look at Nico Hulkenberg if he's got the balls. But we're going to go very slowly. We don't want to take any unnecessary damage in this championship. It's still early doors, but we do need to maintain and try and get through as quick as possible. But we get off to a good start. Kimi Räikkönen, who is sat in P6, I want to say, give or take. He goes to the left-hand side of his rival. He's going to go side by side, I believe, with I want to say Marcus Ericsson. It's probably is Marcus Ericsson. I want to say. I doubt it's Pascal Wehrle. I think Pascal Wehrle might be leading at this point. But we're going to go back onto our onboard. We're going to look at Sebastian Vettel, go around his outside, and we've got Felipe Massa, who we give a little bit of a love tap to. We'll slow down, make sure he retains his position, because that was a little bit unfair from ourselves. We're going to go down the inside of Felipe Massa, and we have Nico Hulkenberg and our teammate Danny Ricciardo just ahead of him, followed by the 2 Force Indias. Make as much gains on these guys as possible down the back straight. It's a very long straight here at the Austin Grand Prix, but we're going to stick on board just for a little bit, see how well we do. We're going to go past Nico Hulkenberg. Ricciardo's maybe just a little bit too far ahead of us, but we're going to do what we can. Hulkenberg is still there. He's not exactly finished yet. He's going to pop down our inside, actually, so he's going to come back at us. So great determination from the German driver. He gets really poor traction, which we're going to take full advantage of and plop ourselves into P15. I think that says my preview screen's small, okay? But we got Ricciardo not too far ahead of us, and we're going to try and make gains on him while he's stuck behind the 2 Force Indias, who's stuck ahead behind a Mercedes, who's stuck behind a Renault of Palmer. So I'd say it's Palmer's fault, but Palmer's stuck behind a Sauber, who's absolutely fallen down the grid massively. That back straight was not kind to them whatsoever. But our teammate is still sticking up with us. We're going to make a lunge down the inside of the Force India. But we do think better of it. But we're hopefully going to get better traction. Indeed we do. So we're going to dispatch of Sergio Perez. Esteban Ocon's not too far away from ourselves, but looking a bit further up the grid, we've got Kimi Räikkönen going past a McLaren Honda. Now that's going to be easy pickings on Alonso, and he's just going to have easy pickings even more so on Stoffel Van Dorn. So Kimi's gone from 4th to 2nd place down the back straight. So it looks as if Kimi Räikkönen has got the potential to win this ahead of Felipe Massa. So it's between them two, but I think Kimi's got the better opportunity, even if he does only have 5 laps. We're going to pull to the left hand side of Esteban Ocon, and we're actually going to lose some speed down the back straight because our engine is not what is in the back of that Mercedes engine. But Hamilton is in P11, Palmer still in the points at P10. But here we go, we got Valtteri Bottas now having a look at the Sauber. I want to say it's Pascal Wehrlein, and indeed it actually is as well, so I'm quite proud of that. So Pascal Wehrlein is the Renault, as the Sauber, who is ahead at the moment, but Bottas makes easy pickings of him as well, and surely down the back straight at some point he'll make it easy on the McLaren Hondas as well. But Lewis Hamilton is our next target, and we're going to go down his inside. Doesn't really fight us very much, and that's probably the easiest overtake you'll ever get on Lewis Hamilton you'll ever see. But Jolyon Palmer again, not doing too bad. He's having a solid championship so far. He's in the points quite regularly, probably because he can't actually score many points. But we're going to have a look at him. We're going to go down his inside. Again, we put our hand up at Palmer like, what are you doing in the points, mate? You shouldn't be here. But we move on to Marcus Eriksen's rear wing. And then swiftly Marcus Eriksen's side pod before we open our DRS. And we get past his front wing as well. So we are making some good ground. We're about halfway through the race. And Pascal Wehrlein is our next target. We've got Kimi Räikkönen now, who is actually chasing down Felipe Massa. And he's going to move to the left-hand side to take the win. And that's actually not Felipe Massa. It's actually Lance Stroll. So apologies for saying it was Massa. Lance Stroll is absolutely smashing it so far. So fair play to the young Canadian who was actually leading this race. So Lance Stroll looks very good for a podium. But as I say that, Lance Stroll is swiftly under pressure from Valtteri Bottas down the back straight. So whether Lance Stroll made a mistake or something, I'm not sure. But Bottas is going to take P2 down into this tight little hairpin section. I guess you'd classify it as that. Kimi is obviously stretched away, so it does look as if Lance Stroll has made an error somewhere at that point. But Pascal Wehrlein is going to get dive bombed onto the back straight, so that's another position for us. That's P8 as we're going to continue on and hopefully make some more ground towards the McLaren Hondas. Van Dorn, we're going to go to the right hand side because I always wanted to drive on this piece of tarmac. I don't think Van Dorn quite expected it either, but we'll take that position. Thank you very much. That's P7. We've got Kevin Magnussen again, who's just ahead of us, so we're seeing a lot of Magnussen. But that's going to be it in terms of the race win. Kimi Räikkönen just absolutely smashed it, and he actually extended his lead ahead of Valtteri Bottas. So Kimi Räikkönen does actually manage to take his 8th win in the championship mode. But fair play to Kimi Räikkönen. His brakes are absolutely boiling hot. We're going to jump back onto our onboard. We're just behind Fernando Alonso, who actually got overtaken by Magnussen. So we don't get past Magnussen, and we might not get past Alonso. It's going to be close. But I reckon if the start-finish line had been under the lights, we would have happily got past Fernando Alonso. But P7, not that bad, end of the day. Solid, again, coming from the back of the grid. You can't really be mad at the positions we made from there. But another Ferrari win, so that's 2 Ferrari wins so far in this specific championship. Kimi Räikkönen, again, he'll move quite high up in the championship. I think he'll be P2 once everything's been decided and sorted out. So solid job from Kimi Räikkönen. The Ferrari boys for the second time are celebrating. Magnussen very happy with a 5th place. Again, I can't read any of this because of the preview so small, but Bottas does get on the podium, and again Lance Stroll takes his first podium in championship mode. Now Bottas, on the other hand, Bottas has got a fair amount of podiums. That is his 10th podium in championship mode. Very, very close. I think the leading championship podium winners are actually Sebastian Vettel and Hamilton, who both have more or less the same podiums, which is crazy to think. They seem to have more race wins than podiums, but nonetheless, we're going to move on to the second race, which is the Belgian Grand Prix, a race where Kimi probably would have won, but Valtteri Bottas, it says on the screen there, down in 16th. I really hope that said 16th. Pascal Wehrlein, on the other hand, starting on pole position, hoping to maybe convert it into a win. I think he's going to hope for that and hopefully do the best he can, because he hasn't had very solid. He's just starting fairly high up and then he's just falling all the way to the back, which is obviously, it's going to be gut-wrenching for him, bless him. But Van Dorn again starts on the front row. Marcus Ericsson just behind. Jolyon Palmer in 4th. Now, I reckon it's between Ocon and Hamilton. I reckon Palmer's got a good shout because Palmer's had some good pace. He's consistently gotten some points, but you never know. Anything could really happen. But Bottas, I was right, P16, which is a sigh of relief. But both of the Ferraris, 18th and 19th. So I doubt you'll see much of them Ferraris at all unless they manage to make a spectacular move down into turn 1, but I don't know. I don't really see that happening anytime soon. So the Ferraris are out of contention for even points this race by the looks of it. But we're going to get off to a good start. Kimi Räikkönen gets a tragic start. So Kimi Räikkönen definitely not making any spectacular moves into turn 1. We're going to go to the right-hand side. There goes Kimi. And I take back what I said. And Kimi did go for a spectacular move into turn 1. But it did not go the way he planned. I think he just clipped us and actually ended up going the wrong way. But a little bit further up the road, on the same lap, you've got Jolyon Palmer actually pressuring one of the Renaults of Pascal Wehrlein, and it's actually Stoffel Van Dorn who is leading the race at this point in time. So Jolyon Palmer's going to go past one Sauber, and he's actually going to go past 2 Saubers. So Jolyon Palmer makes his way up into P2 in pursuit of Stoffel Van Dorn for the race win. We're going to have a look at the replay. So Kimi just, he went for a dive bomb on everyone. And as he did that, he kind of misjudged it. and went into our wheel and sent him spinning, which is, well, one, it's unlucky, and two, to be honest, I didn't expect it considering how poor of a, I think it was just really bad timing, because as we turned right to avoid Magnussen, that's where Kimi came, and he ends up facing the wrong way. So yeah, definitely the Ferraris aren't getting any points this race, but fair play to Kimi going for an audacious move to say the least. At least he managed to actually try and add some flair to it. But we finally caught up to the field. We're just behind Felipe Massa, who he goes for a dive bomb. His one actually worked a little bit. We're going to have to go the long way round on our teammate Carlos Sainz. Yeah, fair play to Felipe Massa actually making a dive bomb work. We've got Fernando Alonso, who's just ahead of us, who's going to really struggle down the back straight. There's our teammate. And then again, Kevin Magnussen, who we keep seeing so much this championship. It's disgusting how often we see Kevin Magnussen up there. But we're trying to get a race update to see who's leading the race at this point. But there isn't a who's leading type thing. But there goes Magnussen. Magnussen gets slowed up by Felipe Massa through their Eau Rouge battle. We're going to cruise up to the back of Felipe Massa, hopefully. But Magnussen's actually going to come back at us a little bit with his Ferrari engine. No DRS, so that's just on straight line speed alone. So fair play to Kevin Magnussen to actually keep up with us and potentially have better pace than us down the back straight. But here's Felipe Massa inside of the train. That's being held up by two Saubers. The two Saubers are holding him up, but right up his gearbox. We're going to lunge to the inside. We had a thought about Ricciardo, but I don't think it was worth trying to take our teammate out. Especially after we had a bit of an incident with Kimi. Bearing in mind, I don't think that was really our fault. We were just trying to avoid another collision, which ended up having another collision. But luckily, it didn't end too bad for us. We're still fighting. We're still in the points. That's all that really matters. But we're going to come up to the Ricciardo, and we had another. We really thought about that, didn't we? You can see our little twitch. And speaking of a twitch, we're going to go sideways. We almost end up into the wall. So we lose Magnussen and Massa. But we're probably going to dive and just see if we can get past them, just because that was a really poor mistake from ourselves. We just lost it under traction and ended up not paying a price for it. But we're going to down the inside of Ricciardo, just behind Sergio Perez. Perez is also being held up by the Saubers, but Ricciardo's going to come back at us. We're going to have to go to the left-hand side. Ricciardo, we banged tyres a little bit, but Ricciardo, on the other hand, we're going to go to his inside and try and take that position off of him. We do manage to make it. Ricciardo can't hold it on that dirty line. We managed to have another good battle with our teammate. Sergio Perez, on the other hand, again being slowed. We're going to have a look at him and maybe think about it. We probably will. We'll go a little bit wide to give him the space. He doesn't think that space is enough, apparently. We're going to hold our hand up in pure frustration, but we've got Esteban Ocon, who is fighting the two Saubers, who are actually in third and fourth, I believe. So Esteban Ocon is going to move himself up into fourth place if he can hold on to this position from the Sauber. The Sauber's not giving up easy at all, but he does have to yield eventually to the young Frenchman. So Esteban Ocon, P4, solid job from him. We've got Lewis Hamilton now, who is battling Marcus Ericsson, who is in P5. So it's going to be very interesting to see if Hamilton can get through. We're going to hang to the left, take that position of Marcus Ericsson. We'll move up to P6, hopefully. If we can get past Ericsson, he's fighting really hard for this 6th place, but we're going to take it off of him. Ocon still only behind Pascal Wehrlein in 4th, but Hamilton in 5th. Speaking of Hamilton, here we go. We're going to come through a Rouge. We're going to get double DRS on all of these cars. We're cruising up to Hamilton so quickly. We'll pull to the right hand side. We do have DRS. There goes Ocon. Hamilton, will he pull to the right? He thinks about it, but because we're there, he's not going to do it. And there's 4 cars trying to get through this corner at once. It's so messy. We touch Hamilton a little bit, so we have to let him have the move. But Ocon has moved up into P3. We're going to have a look on board at Esteban Ocon getting past and just see how well he did. So he's going to cruise up to the right hand side. You can see in his mirror, you got Hamilton on your left, ourselves on the right, and I think he had the easiest job out of all of us, just to stay ahead, where ourselves and Hamilton got a little bit tangled up while trying to avoid collision with the Sauber. But fair play to Esteban Ocon. He's up into P3, who is just behind the McLaren and the Renault. But we're going to have a look. We bounce over the curb and we almost lose it and go straight into the back of Pascal Wehrlein. That would have been a tragic end to the race, but Hamilton's flown off. We won't catch Hamilton. We're going to have a look at Pascal Wehrlein, and we're catching him so quickly. We might even pull off a Max Verstappen if Max Verstappen did it on the inside. We're going to take a nice and easy no sharp movements, job done. And that Sauber engine can't keep up with our Renault. But we're going to be in P5, and that is Jolyon Palmer setting the fastest lap of the race. Checker flag is out, so the race has ended, and the winner has been set in stone. It is a completely different winner from the first 3 races. We're in P5, solid job, can't complain. But the winner of the race is a Renault driver, and the only Renault driver that was up the front was Jolyon Palmer. So Jolyon Palmer somehow won the Belgian Grand Prix, and I was quite shocked because I couldn't actually tell the entire race. I knew it was between the McLaren and the Renault. I was hoping Van Dorn would have won it, but the fact that Jolyon Palmer won it, I was just blown away. Hamilton finishing a comfy 4th place, just ahead of us. But yeah, Jolyon Palmer gets his first win in the championship mode. Never going to see this in real life. I'm just going to say that now. But yeah, so Palmer moves up to 2nd in the championship as well, which I think is just ridiculous. But fair play to Jolyon Palmer, he did a solid job. We're still leading the championship by about 12 points. Red Bull still ahead of Ferrari, not by much though. We lost some ground in America. But anyway, the next one is Austria. Until then, I'll see you there. Bye bye.